All right, Christian. So the topic for February 10th is jazz's second renaissance, the 80s. Why do people forget about this? What's going on?
You know, that's a good question, Ted. I've always felt like there's always been this sort of unspoken understanding that anything that happened after the 60s uh, wasn't very important in the history of jazz. I think a lot of that is being challenged now because I think there have been a younger generation that has been going back to listen to things that were going on in the 70s, particularly in the avant-garde scene. But in the 1980s, that directly influenced how I got into this music, is how I was introduced into this music. And not only was I introduced to people like Monk and Bird and Coltrane and Miles Davis, but also got introduced to this music through people who were known as the Young Lions, like Wynton and Branford Marsalis, Terrence Blanchard, Donald Harrison, Wallace Roney. They were just as important to me as the legends. And mostly I could work with the contemporary musicians. I would never get to play with Monk or Bird, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, and it also shaped what we have as jazz education now as well. It
Absolutely.
codified where this music was kind of going for how it's taught now. So I know I'm looking forward to having because you were just behind that generation, right? Personally.
That's right. Yeah, I moved to New York City in 1989, and I think what was known as the Young Lions movement hadn't even reached its peak yet. So it was really hot. People like Branford Marsalis and Terrence Blanchard were being heavily featured in Spike Lee films. Um, you had groups like A Tribe Called Quest who were sampling jazz albums, and there was this whole public interest in straight ahead jazz, thanks to people like Wynton Marsalis. So it was a very, very exciting time in jazz, I believe.
Well, I know I love a lot of that music, both by the Young Lions and some of the greats who kind of got their names got brought back out and brought to the forefront of the music again and made some really, really great records in the 80s. So I know I'm looking forward to this conversation and checking out some of the cuts that you want to share. So I'll see you on February 10th, 6:30,
I
Wednesday.
can't wait.
All right, see you then, buddy.
All right, brother.
All right, take care.